As we continue our post-debate analysis, it is worth noting that the one state that could warrant a great deal more attention is Colorado. Denver radio host Michael Brown joined me on America Talks Live earlier today, and he brought to light the potential game changer that is the Centennial State.
And if you dig into the tabs of those polls, you'll see that independents, undecideds slightly moved 2% toward Trump. In a state like Colorado, and I said this last night on my program, it may boil down to a state like Colorado if the trend lines keep moving the way they appear to be moving. If this race keeps getting tighter and tighter, the electoral votes in Colorado may decide this election.
So for a look at Colorado and the other 49 states, we're now joined by the senior partner for John Zogby Strategies, John Zogby, Skyping in tonight from Providence, Rhode Island. We should point out that John is also the author of the book, We Are Many, We Are One, A New Look at American Tribes. So, John, we heard Michael Brown talking about undecideds, at least when you look down in the crosstabs, undecideds moving toward Trump. And then the larger question, the electoral vote breakdown, how Colorado could be the one deciding state. You agree with that?
Oh, I do. Yeah, and we're just seeing the evidence now in the last few days. You know, it was solidly in the blue column, you know, a couple of weeks ago, you know, at 9 or 10 points lead for Clinton. Now that lead has been dissipated and it's pretty much tied. It is a bifurcated state. So, I mean, you do have conservatives and you have independent fiscal conservatives in Colorado. On the other hand, of course, you have a large and growing Latino population, and they've already shown that they will come out to vote in 2002 and in 2006 and 2012.
John, we have talked before about the different surveys post-election. Newsmax.com, for example, not scientific, but measuring intensity. A lot of Trump fans. But there was a poll done, a brushfire poll, done last night with a random sample. That was done by Public Policy Polling. And when you take a look at that, more than half of the respondents believe Hillary Clinton outperformed Mr. Trump at the debate. The margin, 11 percentage points, 51% to 40%. Now, you have said, and in fact, you mentioned on our debate special last night, you really didn't think the polls would move in Hillary's direction just yet. Let's listen to the way you put it last night, and then now that you've had a day to reflect on it, see if it still stands.
I'm going to give her the edge. She was clearly prepared, although don't let anybody kid you, so was Donald Trump. He was very prepared to debate. I think that they had some real tough blows at each other, but in the final analysis, don't expect the polling points to move by the end of the week.
Yeah, so it takes a while. You stand by your assessment of last night?
I do indeed. Yeah, I don't. I think we're locked in, and I think both candidates are having a problem, you know, persuading the late decision makers. And there wasn't anything last night, I don't think, that moved any numbers significantly. No.
You know, it used to be when we'd cover campaigns or we'd see the dominant media culture cover those campaigns, undecided voters at about this stage of the campaign were almost elevated to enlightened status because they were immune from the arguments of the two parties and they were judging on the person. To the extent Donald Trump has modified the Republican appeal to this kind of conservative populist fusion, it's interesting. I don't see stories about the nobility of the undecided at this point in the campaign.
No, not at all. In fact, what you hear mainly about is, you know, why is anybody undecided? You have two controversial figures, well-known figures, but we also have two competing visions for America that were laid out very clearly. And frankly, I'm not sure that either of those visions are compelling to those undecideds yet, just like the personalities are not compelling to the undecideds yet. That's why I think this is going to go down to the wire. I think there are people out there, and know that there are people out there that are saying, gee, I wish we had two different candidates.
Well, we don't. We have the two that are in it, and we'll keep an eye on what happens. John Zogby tonight from Providence, Rhode Island. Thanks very much.